Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parijakacharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se ko Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Radha Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki, Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki, Purusham Kshetra Jagannathpuri Dham ki, राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमा सुदर्शन चक्र की, श्री श्री गौर निताय की, भगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. We are reading, welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 42. So you can repeat after me. Raja Vacha Krito me anuragah purvam Hari nartanu kampinah Tam madhyab itum brahman Bhagavan yuyam agatah. Rajo vacha Krito me anugra purvam Hari arthanukampina Tam apadiyatum brahman Bhagavan yuyam agatah. Krito me anuragah purvam Hari artanukampina Tam apaditum brahman Bhagavan yuyam agatah. Prabhuji's. Purvam Kampina Pinapanukampina Tam apatayatum brahman Bhagavan yuyam agatah. Raja vacha Krito me agnura purvam Rinatana kampina Yamtarayatum brahman Bhagavan agatah. Mataji's. Krito me anugra purvam Rinavara kampina Tamapada tum brahman Bhagwan yuyam agata. Raja vacha, the king said, Krita, done, me, may, unto me, anugraha, causeless mercy, purvam, formally, harina, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, artha anukampina, compassionate for persons in distress, tam, that, apadyutam, to confirm it, Brahman, O Brahmana, Bhagavan, O powerful one, Yuyam, all of you, agataha, have arrived here. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. The king said, O Brahmana, O powerful one, formerly Lord Vishnu showed me his causeless mercy, indicating that you would come to my house, and to confirm that blessing, you have all come. Purport. When Lord Vishnu appeared in the great arena of sacrifice at the time when King Prithu was performing great sacrifice, Ashwamedha, he predicted that the Kumaras would very soon come and advise the king. Therefore, Prithu Maharaj remembered the causeless mercy of the Lord and thus welcomed the arrival of the Kumaras, who were fulfilling the Lord's prediction. In other words, when the Lord makes a prediction, he fulfills that prediction through some of his devotees. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that both his glorious names and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra would be broadcast in all towns and villages of the world. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada desired to fulfill this great prediction, and we are all following in their footsteps. Regarding his devotees, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, Kaunteya Pratijanehi Name Bhaktya Pranashati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotees shall never perish. Bhagavad Gita 9.31. The point is that Lord himself could declare such things, but it was his desire to make the declaration through Arjuna, and thus doubly assured that his promise would never be broken. The Lord himself promises, and his confidential devotees execute the promise. The Lord makes so many promises for the benefit of suffering humanity. Although the Lord is very compassionate upon suffering humanity, human beings are generally not very anxious to serve him. The relationship is something like that between a father and a son. The father is always anxious for the welfare of the son, even though the son forgets or neglects the father. The word anukampena is significant. The Lord is so compassionate upon the living entities that he comes himself into this world in order to benefit the fallen souls. Yada yada hi dharmasya glaner bhavati bharata abhayuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Bhagavad Gita 4.7. Thus, out of compassion that the Lord appears in his different forms, Lord Sri Krishna appeared on this planet out of compassion for fallen souls. Lord Buddha appeared out of compassion for the poor animals that were being killed by demons. Lord Narsingha Dev appeared out of compassion for Prahlad Maharaj. The conclusion is that the Lord is so compassionate upon the fallen souls within the material world that he comes himself or sends his devotees and his servants to fulfill his desire to have all the fallen souls come back home, back to Godhead. Thus, Lord Sri Krishna instructed the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna for the benefit of the entire human society. Intelligent men should therefore seriously consider this Krishna consciousness movement and fully utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita as preached without adulteration by his pure devotees. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitilam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Padakamalam Shri Yuta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajidvam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauritvisha Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining today's Bhagavatam class. I'll be very honest, I was getting slightly nervous. It's the things, the shlokas you remember, all this while you remember very nicely, but moment you sit on the Vyasas and all of a sudden your mind gets foggy and you forget everything. So apologize. Please give me your blessings so that I can give this Bhagavatam class, do the seva very as per Prabhupada's purpose, do justice to Prabhupada's purpose. Yeah. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, which starts from the 10th chapter, the 8th verse. Am sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhavo samavrita. Just to give you an idea of it, the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita is Krishna summarizing the Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses. He says these 4 verses more or less give you what is the crux of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna first talks about karma, jnana, all of that, but he says what is the essence? What is the essence is the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. He starts by aham sarvasya prabhavo, I am the source from which everything emanates. Mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam. Whoever understands, in Hindi we say iska matva hame samajh mein aata hai, we understand the value of it. Iti matva bhajante mam, those who worship me, buddha bhava samavrita. Buddha means intelligent, buddha bhava samavrita. I consider them intelligent. That is my opinion, he tells Arjuna. What happens in 10.9? Machchita madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. Now directly after first establishing the fact that he is the source of all creation, Krishna immediately jumps onto the next most important point of Bhagavad Gita, and that is Machchita Madgata Prana. Krishna first makes people realize who God is, and then he makes people realize what a devotee of God is. What is the purpose of this life? Why is the soul come into the material world? Machchita Madgata Prana. Machchita, their mind is always on my lotus feet. They're always meditating on me. Bodhayantas parasparam kathayantas cha mam nityam. That means they're always doing nityam katha of me. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They say Radha Raman Hari Bol. Why do they say Radha Raman? Raman means the one who relishes. Radha relishes Krishna. That is why we say Raman. Raman means to enjoy. Even when we say Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, the Ram can either stand for Lord Ramchandra, it can stand for multiple things. But what was established in the Shastras is Ram, specifically in this mantra, stands for the pleasure, one who gives everlasting external extreme bliss. That is the power of the word Ram. It comes from Raman. So Ram bhajante mam iti matva parasparam bodhayantas machchita madgata parana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantas cha mam nitam tushanti cha ramanti cha. So they are always relishing my topics. This is what Krishna is establishing in the second shloka of Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. He's saying that my devotees are always absorbed in the thoughts of me. Now he goes to the third one. You might please forgive me, I'm not very crystal clear on the shloka, so might hesitate a bit. Please show me your compassion. He says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajantam priti purvakam. He says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. He says, Tesham satata yuktanam. They are always, to those who are constantly, remembering, bhajante priti purvakam, with love and devotion, they are, worshipping me. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give them the intelligence, yena mam upayanti te, so that they can come to me eventually. And then what happens in 10.11? Krishna says, Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jam tamaha nashyame atma bhavastho jnana dipena bhasvata. Where Krishna says that to show them special mercy, I am dwelling in their hearts. The Paramatma is dwelling in their hearts. I remove aham ajnana jam tamaha. I destroy their ignorance, and with jnana dipena, with the light of knowledge, I show them the way so that they can come to me. Now, the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita is pretty similar to what Krishna is saying in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, which starts from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, chapter 9, verse 33 to 36, where it starts from the verse Aham evasam evagre to yat sarvata sarvadam. Now, I'm not going to go into details and break down each and every shloka for you, but more or less to give you an idea, Lord Brahma, when he's meditating on Krishna to create the universe, when he finally sees Krishna, he asks Krishna 4 essential questions. And Brahma, don't forget, is the creator of all living entities. All of us, Brahma is also called Pitama. Pita means the great grandfather. He is the original grandfather of all living beings. So the questions he is asking is utmost important for all living beings. He is actually asking on the behalf of all living beings who are reading the Bhagavatam. And what does he ask? He asks 4 questions. Who is the Lord? What is Lord's form and nature? Second is, this is as per what Prabhupada says, how does Lord play with his different energies? How is his material energy separate to his spiritual energy? What is Brahma's duty in creation? That's the third question. And lastly, he asks, what is the ultimate goal and purpose for all human beings? And Krishna very beautifully gives the reply to all of this. If you see Canto 2, chapter 9, verse 36, it's like probably the longest purport I've ever seen in my life. When I was taking notes, it took me one whole day to just take the notes. It's like 12 pages or something. It's a very long purport, but absolutely beautiful. I would highly recommend read it again. Even if you've read the Bhagavatam, go ahead and read it again. It's so relishable because Prabhupada puts so much nectar in it. And the reason being, because the most essential part of the Bhagavatam is given in it. And this correlates to what is given in the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, where he says that, where Krishna is asked, what is your form and nature? He says, I alone existed. If we see in the Srimad, in fact, can you guys open Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 1. Can somebody open that? And just read the last line, just the last line of Srimad Bhagavatam. You will see how the dots all connect. How Krishna from the beginning of the Bhagavatam, till the end of Bhagavatam is connecting and establishing the main point. The main point of the Bhagavatam is established in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1.1.1. Prabhu, you got it? Can you just read the last line? Yeah. Satyam param dhimahi. Satyam, please remember this word. In the Vedanta Sutras, it starts with Athato Brahma Jigyasa, which literally translates to what is the purpose of human lives. Athato Brahma Jigyasa is to understand the meaning of this human life. And the second sutra of Vedanta Sutras is Satyam param dhimahi. Now Satyam is what is Krishna replying in the Chaturshloki Bhagavata. I am the source of everything that emanates and nothing exists before me. From me, everything comes into existence. Whatever we see right now is actually coming from Krishna. He is the source of everything. Satyam literally translates to absolute truth without which nothing exists. Nothing can be existing without Krishna. That is the power. This is the source of Krishna. Satyam, Param. Param means complete energy of Lord. Param does not mean partial energy of Lord. Full energy of Lord, which is unlimited, which Lord himself doesn't know what is his energies, through which this entire universe is operating, and without which negates and destroys anything which is in darkness and ignorance. That is Param. And Dhimahi is what I meditate on. Now think about this very carefully. In the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, he first says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam. He first establishes the fact that I created all the universe. What does he say next? Madchita madgata prana. That means he is not only saying how the universe came into existence, he is also giving the very important and the most crucial purpose for which all living beings are in this material world. Madchita madgata prana. Meditate upon me. Satyam param dhimahi. Meditate upon Shri Krishna. That is what essentially even the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam is also talking about. You know, very fun fact is, in the second canto, if you read, the entire second canto is nothing but creation. Krishna from the beginning to end talks about creation. It's beautiful. How Krishna says that the Virat Purusha, or the first creation, the Mahavishnu, he first desired to taste. So then the senses were created. With the senses, the demigod responsible for the senses, Varun Dev, who's the demigod for all juices and nectar, he was created. Like that, he breaks down each and every aspect of creation, because we should never directly jump to the esoteric pastimes of Krishna. We should first understand creation. We are not currently on the level or the platform to understand Krishna's ras, or the mellows of Krishna. We are first supposed to understand the form, the power of Krishna. We are first supposed to understand who Krishna is, then we can respect it. Otherwise, unfortunately, this is what has happened in current society. People misunderstand Krishna as some mythological figure, and they find all of this very cute. Oh, Krishna playing with the gopis, oh, he's stealing butter, playing flute, haha. If you don't understand in essence what Krishna is, what the source of, what is God's form and nature, which is Brahma's first question, then we can never understand our own purpose. The first question is what is God's nature, and the second question, the last question, is ultimate goal of living beings. Now in the second canto of Bhagavatam, throughout he's explaining about all the different aspects of creation, and at last the sages tell him that please tell us about the inquiries that Vidura made to Maitreya Muni. And Prabhupada writes very beautifully in his purport that this is the quality of a pure devotee. Pure devotees are not really interested in just the power of Krishna, they are interested in the sweetness of Krishna. So immediately they wanted to understand the transcendental activities of Krishna, the sages of Naimisharanya. So they all directly, while they are explaining such heavy topics of creation, they immediately divert, and that's how the second canto ends, where he says that now let's talk about the inquiries that Vidura makes to Maitreya Muni. We see this in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 also. In chapter 11, Arjuna, for establishing the fact that Krishna is actually God, he requests Krishna that, oh Krishna, please show me your universal form. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, any rascal will come here and claim that I am actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am God. So Arjuna, just to establish this fact, he prays to Krishna, saying that I am eager to know what is your real form, what is your universal form. And Krishna bestows his mercy, and he gives Arjuna the Divya Chakshu, the divine vision through which he can see his universal form. And the description is like, I read the 11th chapter, my hair stood up on end, because it was so, thrilling. You never read this stuff anywhere else. Krishna, when he came, it was like millions, and if you start visualizing it, you will actually go into a very good meditation. Krishna, when he showed his universal form, it's like millions of sun, that the brightness of millions of sun shone upon Arjuna. He saw thousands, millions of arms, millions of eyes, millions of nose. He saw fierce form of Krishna, where he is destroying and absorbing all the dead bodies in the battle of Kurukshetra. But the 11th chapter is one of the biggest chapters of Bhagavad Gita. It gives very great description of Krishna's universal form. And a lot of us might get very interested. Wow, this is so cool, right? Like Krishna is showing his universal form. God is showing what he actually is. And the descriptions are absolutely stunning. But what happens at the end? Arjun says that Krishna, now please show me your 200 form. Arjun is not, and Prabhupada writes again in the purport that Arjun is a pure devotee, and pure devotees are not interested in just seeing the power of Krishna. They want to see the transcendental activities, the sweetness of Krishna. And when Krishna finally shows him the 200 form, Arjuna's, at last, his anxieties have disappeared. So that is the quality of pure devotees. We have to understand, most other Abrahamic religions also, they talk about only the power of God. God is all powerful. He can destroy you. If you don't follow God's rule, you'll go eternally in hell and rot, and God will punish you. All that is fine. But what business does God have to do? How sadistic has this so-called God have to be to continuously punish that I have created this world so that you can, if you don't follow my rules, you'll get punished. That is not true. When we see Krishna, everything about him is beautiful. Everything about him is sweet. Adharam, madhuram. Everything about him is sweet. That is the quality that the devotees relish. Tushanticha, Ramanticha, they relish the beautiful qualities. Even the greatest Siddha Yogi, the greatest, self-realized Atmaram will still relish the transcendental topics of Krishna. That is how beautiful the topics of Krishna is. And we need to understand that Krishna is not only just powerful, he is also very sweet. We are absorbed in the thoughts of all powerful. There are some pastimes where we get a mix, a combo of Krishna being powerful, actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead being all powerful, at the same time he's being sweet. And my favorite story is when Lord Balram goes to pay a visit to Hastinapur. Now what happens is, Krishna's son called Samba means the pet son. Amba means mother. That's why in temples, Durga Devi is also called Ambika, which means that, not Ambika, that's the wife of. Amba means the mother, right? And Samba means the favorite of the mother, who's always with the mother. So Samba was one of the favorite pet childs of Krishna. And now Samba decides to marry Duryodhan's daughter called Lakshmana. This is not the same Lakshmana as Ram Lakshmana, obviously. It's a different Lakshmana. It's Duryodhan's daughter. And Kshatriyas, they have their marriages in a very different way. If you see any Shastra, you'll see the Kshatriya marriages are always, there's some sort of competition. Like during Ramayana, they say that you have to string the bow and shoot it, right? Even for marrying Draupadi, there's so many games. You have to look at the fish's eye and shoot it by looking at the reflection. So many complicated things. But Samba is like, I'm Krishna. I just want to get. He fell in love with Lakshmana, and Kshatriyas are allowed to kidnap the wife and take them, because there are different types of ways of getting married. This is one of them for Kshatriyas. For Kshatriyas, that is allowed. So Kshatriyas have to go. They have to challenge each and everybody. They have to defeat them in battle, and then they can kidnap the lady and then take them, and they become the wife. And as per Vedic Shastras, if a lady is touched by any other man before marriage, then she cannot be touched by any other man. You have to get them married. So now, long story short, I'll get too much into the details. But Samba kidnaps Lakshmana in the midst of Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Duryodhan, and he just kidnaps her. And Shamba, don't forget, is the son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's from the Yadu dynasty. That means Samba is pretty powerful. He defeats all of them. He alone comes in battle, and all these big Maharathas. Samba is a Maharatha. Maharatha means alone you can battle a huge army. There is Ekaratha, which means you can defeat one chariot. Maharatha means great. Maha means great, and Ratha means you can defeat a great number of chariot fighters. So alone he was just giving a very tough battle, just like Abhimanyu. And at the end, these the Kauravas unfairly defeat Samba by first they choose one, each person shoots each of his horses, then they kill his chariot driver, then they cut his bowstring so that he cannot fight back, which is actually an unfair way of doing it. And then what do? They get so angry that they kidnap Samba, they put him in prison. And they say that these Yadus are trying to, they're going out of hand. They don't know who we are. We are the Kauravas. They better not. We are the Kurus. Nobody messes with the Kuru dynasty. And now there is a whole chaos in the Yadu clan. All the Yadus are very upset. They said that what should we do? We should wage war against these Kurus. How dare these Kurus kidnap our prince like that? Doesn't he know he is the son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Now all this chaos is going on, and amongst this chaos there's one person who's very peaceful and quiet. And surprise, surprise, that's not Krishna, that's Balram. Balram always takes a neutral stand, and Balram, if you see, he kind of has a partiality towards Duryodhan. There's a whole reason behind it, but Balram basically doesn't take a particular stance. Krishna is still favored he favors Arjuna because Arjuna is his pure devotee and Krishna is bound by his pure devotee. Balram, on the other hand, is very calm, peaceful. He says, before we go and attack and break our family relations, let me go and talk to them. So Balram comes with alone, no single army. He goes, enters Hastinapur with his plow in hand, and he just walks in. And the description is given, beautiful, milky white skin, looking, glowing effulgently. On his palms, it's like a lotus-like pinkness on his palms and his lotus feet. And he walks with a beautiful, silky blue garment. And when he enters Hastinapur, he's so effulgent that all the people of the Praja of Hastinapur, they start offering him all sorts of, they do aarti of him, they give him cows, they give him all sorts of jewels, all sorts of riches to acknowledge, and that's the proper tradition of welcoming such a great soul, such a great personality, and what to talk about the Supreme Personality. So when Balram comes, he directly dictates. He says, please, I demand right now, get Samba and Lakshmana in front of me. He directly demands it. And now the Kurus are kind of started like, how can he just order us like that? They were kind of puffed up. Prabhupada writes this word, puffed up by their false riches. So they got this huge kingdom. Now they got so puffed up by their possessions that they thought they were bigger than Balram also. And Prabhupada writes that this is the condition of anybody who accumulates too much wealth. That they very soon, their ego, their false ego gets boosted and they get puffed up, falsely puffed up. And they start thinking themselves to be as good as God or even greater than God. Which is what happened with the Kurus. So they start telling Balram, And this is what they say. When I was reading, I was like, don't these guys feel afraid or anything? They say, when did the people, the dynasty which is lower than our sandals, start coming to the position of the helmet, the head where the helmet is supposed to sit? Don't they know that the Kurus are eating and using all ornaments based on we are feeding them. They are using our chamaras, they are using our ornaments, paraphernalia. And now they have the audacity to come and throw demands at us. They start throwing, they start telling this to Balram. And Balram, although he's cool and quiet externally, you can see Prabhupada writes that his skin, it becomes so red that you can't even look at Balram. When somebody gets so angry that you don't even want to keep eye contact, you just want to kind of look down. Balram got that angry. And when Balram gets, unlike Krishna, Balram doesn't like to play around. He directly gets to the point. Krishna, he's kind of a show off. He'll try to play around a little bit. When he's picking up Govardhan, he'll pick it up for 7 days just to, he'll have a little bit of Leela, he'll have a little bit of pastime. Not Balram. If you see any pastime of Balram, he gets straight to the point. He throws one blade of grass at Romaharshan and kills him. He doesn't waste any time. He sees Dvida gorilla and he gives him one punch and he's gone. Balram's pastimes are like my favorite. He just starts and it ends. That's how quick it is. So Balram, again, he sees this audacity of these Kurus and he gets extremely angry. He says, okay. I think, and Prabhupada in his Krishna book, he writes words which then Balram said, now I'm vehement or something like that. And it's obviously a summary study, but Balram wouldn't actually say that. Anyways, Balram gets so angry, he says that, you can't explain these people by words. In Hindi, there's a saying, "Laaton ke bhoot baaton se nahi samajhte," which basically means you can't explain people who are too confounded by sweet words. You need to show some action. So Balram takes his plow and starts hitting very hard on the ground. And Balram is the source of all creation. When Balram hits, he actually separates Hastinapur. He breaks the entire city. That's how powerful he is. He destroys an entire city. He cracks the entire city and he's about to drown it. He's going to use the plow and push the entire city into the Ganges so that they would all submerge and die. And all the people, it felt like there was an earthquake going on. It felt like thunderbolts were hitting the land of Hastinapur. And when this happened, immediately all the Kurus came into senses and they saw Balram's red fuming body and they immediately got Samba and Lakshmana. And then finally they did all of that. Now my point being is that there is also an aspect of sweetness in this, at the same time the power. A lot of times we forget one aspect and we just go into the other. Either we forget the actual quality and power of God, and we just go into the pastimes, which is actually Ashtakalya Leela. We should not directly jump into the esoteric pastimes of Leela. We should always understand. That is why the word Satyam Param Dhimahi is very, very important. This is the most important aspect. Even in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, towards one of the last few verses of the Bhagavatam, this line is again mentioned, Satyam Param Dhimahi, which is establishing that Krishna is actually the source of all creation. Everything, I mentioned this last Bhagavatam class as well. If I'm appreciating a quality in some person, or if, for example, anybody's a parent over here, any parents, can you raise your hand? You're a parent. So in fact, the quality that you get, the love that you feel when you see your child, that is actually the love you have for Krishna. But it is masked in the form that nothing can exist, no emotion, no feeling, no quality, no material object can exist without Krishna. We have to understand that. So in reality, our love for our children is actually love for Krishna. Our hobbies, our passion is actually Krishna. Everything that we see in our world is Krishna. Until the time we don't drill it in our head, we won't be able to do Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushanticha Ramanchira. Another good quality which is mentioned, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. That means that, or Kathayantascha Mam Nityam, which means they're always relishing my qualities. I was hearing from one, I won't say God brother because I'm not yet initiated, but one disciple of His Holiness Param Pujya Shri Srimad Radha Govind Das Goswami Maharaj. And he was saying that when he was going to get initiated, Radha Govind Maharaj was lying on his bed. He was not fully, his health is still pretty bad. He is not he got a stroke and he's not very healthy at the moment. But even while lying on the bed, he has somebody reciting the Bhagavatam. While he's eating, somebody is reciting the Bhagavatam. While he's walking, he carries the Bhagavatam with him. That is the love he has for Bhagavatam. This is what is trying to be said when you say Tushanti cha Ramanti cha Katayanchasta Mam Nityam. They're always just relishing the pastimes of Krishna. And that is why we should meditate on Krishna all the time. Another important aspect of this is we talk about the compassion of Krishna. How much time I've got? Not much. Compassion of Krishna. Krishna, again, we understand the power of Krishna. Sometimes we forget the sweetness of Krishna. Like for example, the entire Narsingha Leela happened just to glorify Prahlad Maharaj. You think Lord Vishnu couldn't have destroyed Hiranyakashipu with the blink of his eye? He could have done it. The Leela wouldn't even have started before Vishnu would have put an end to him. But what does Lord Vishnu do? He stays silent. When Hiranyakashipu is killing all the saintly people, he stays silent. When all the misgivings are happening, he stays silent. And when the Devatas are getting attacked, he stays silent. Finally, when when Indradev sees that Hiranyakashipu is performing penances, he sees that this guy Hiranyakashipu standing like this and there are ant hills on his body. For millions of years he's been performing tapasya. The Devatas get joyful. They said, yeah, he's dead. Mar gaya, he's dead. And they all get very ecstatic. And now they immediately take advantage of this situation and they attack the demons. Because now they say the leader is now weak, the leader is dead, now attack all of them. So the Devatas just started waging war and killing all these demons continuously. And Indradev, he saw that Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadu, was pregnant. And he said, this is a big issue. If the father is such a demon, imagine what the son will be like. So he kidnaps Kayadu and he takes her, and his plan was that when she is pregnant, when she delivers, then I will wait for Prahlad Maharaj to come out and I will kill the son of Hiranyakashipu, and then I will send her back. And complete mayhem is occurring. While he is in the chariot taking Kayadu with her, Narad Muni appears. And Narad Muni says that, how can you, you are the king of the heavenly planets. How can you behave in such a way? How can you touch somebody else's wife? He says that, no, my plan is I'll just kill the son. He says, no. This son, you don't know, he's not an ordinary person. He's a Mahabhagavat. He's a great devotee of Krishna. And when he alone is like a shining flame in this hall of darkness. And when Indradev hears about that, he actually does a pradikshina of Kayadu, and he bows and offers full danvats to Kayadu. And because he knows the quality, only Devtas can appreciate the quality of Mahabhagavats, of pure devotees. When he hears that a pure devotee is going to come out, he offers so much respect. They understand the value. And Krishna allows Prahlad Maharaj throughout. You think Narsingha appeared to kill Hiranyakashipu? No, absolutely not. Narsingha came to glorify Prahlad Maharaj. That's why we have the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. The 7th canto of Bhagavatam is not about gory details of Narsingha killing Hiranyakashipu. Most of it is describing Prahlad Maharaj's teachings, his realization, his compassion. Krishna is over anxious to glorify his devotees. We don't understand this. Even in the Mahabharata, he is willing to break his own promise so that the devotees are protected. He has so much love for the devotees. When we read this, and we read this constantly, we continuously understand this. Our eyes will be full of tears because we understand how much love and compassion Krishna actually has for us. And the second, we'll feel angry on ourselves that how foolish am I that I can't understand the mercy and the compassion that Krishna has for me. We don't realize this. How much mercy does Krishna have for his devotees? He can, you think there will be any atheists existing if Krishna decides that in one snap he can make everybody fully self-realized. But he wants his pure devotees to take on his mission so that they can be glorified. Krishna always wants the devotees to be glorified. When Krishna was holding the Govardhan hill on his pinky finger, the Vrajvasis, all the cowherd boys tell Krishna that actually it was not you. You have no strength. You are just a young son of Maharaj Nanda. It was actually Madhu Mangal, the Brahman son. It was his stick which actually helped hold the Govardhan hill all these 7 days. You actually didn't do anything. And Madhu Mangal just looks at his stick and says, I didn't know that I'm so powerful, but he takes all credit. So actually, this is the quality of Krishna. After killing Kamsa, all the coward boys are like, you are not Krishna. Krishna used to get defeated in wrestling match and we used to put our feet on him. How did you defeat such a great? If you're actually Krishna, fight with me. And Krishna, after defeating Kamsa, after having that whole pastime and showing how powerful he is, he also shows his sweet side. He gets defeated by the coward boy, and the coward boy puts his feet on Krishna and they start enjoying that, oh, we won over Krishna, and they all start having fun. That is the sweetness of Krishna. Somebody who's so powerful, who's the source of all creation, is willing to just have beautiful, relishable pastimes with his devotees. He takes the position of a charioteer. With the conclusion, I would mention one last point which I thought was very important, and there's always a lesson we can take from each purport of the Bhagavata. We should understand the mood of our parampara. We are not coming from a parampara of fanatics. We are coming from a parampara of complete lion gurus. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. They are not ordinary men. They went over and beyond to deliver this Krishna consciousness movement. It was very easy for Prabhupada to stay in Vrindavan and just, enjoy, sing kirtan and, sit in front of Radha. It was very easy for him. He went out of his way at the age of 70 to do all of this. Prabhupada, even when he was a grihastha, when he was a householder, he used to put 300 to 400 rupees. And in those times, 300, 400 rupees was like what? More than, I would easily say over thousands of dollars. In 1 paisa, you would have bought something which is now 10 rupees. So 300, 400 rupees, you can't even imagine the value. It was so much. On a monthly basis, Prabhupada used to invest this amount so that he could print Back to Godhead magazine and used to distribute, so that some ignorant people can actually read this and understand the qualities of God. Even Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur went over and beyond. He printed the Nadya Prakash and he distributed it to people so that they can understand what is. He said that there are so many, in material world, most of the news is boring. People, my Srila Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj says that newspaper, he was in Chicago and he saw newspaper in the washroom, and he said, why is it in the washroom? And he said, people actually read it while they are, using the washroom, and then they leave it over there. And he said, news like this should be read in such a place only. It should not be taken outside. So he said, but Nadya Prakash, the qualities of the spiritual world is unlimited. You will need to continuously, eternally print magazines to read about and understand the qualities of Vaikuntha and the qualities of Krishna. These people were not ordinary men. And the second thing is, they were not, we think that sadhu is usually somebody, oh Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept. They are very shy and very humble. Do you think Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a shy, humble man? He went out of his way and he accommodated and adjusted according to the time and circumstance. When he was having a meeting with the British Council, he actually had, he didn't dress up in dhoti kurta, he wore formal English suit because he had to play the part. He was thinking of the larger picture. Ordinary people will criticize him that how is he not representing, how is he not wearing dhoti kurta and all that. He was thinking of the larger picture. In order to win over these people and actually promote this movement even further, he has to first gel in with them. He did all of that. He used to cook food which was, sometimes prohibited. They used to not eat it, but they used to cook when some Englishmen used to come. He used to get people to roll cigars for them. He went over and beyond. He did things as per the time and circumstance. He was not a fanatic. And so was Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was absolutely fearless. Without any fear, he just went into the Western world and he completely changed their entire perspective on what the God is, what is the meaning of life. He did everything. There's one instance that he was on a radio show and he wanted to speak, and they didn't have a mic holder. He used the brāhmaṇa thread of his disciple to speak. So this is the point we should understand. We should not be the shy, cowardly people thinking that I'm such a great sadhu and I'm so humble by, not do. We should go over and beyond. We should walk and follow the system of the parampara. We should do what Srila Prabhupada was doing. And Srila Prabhupada was fearless. He never cared. He was never afraid. In London, he once went and he was attending a radio program in London. And anybody has heard of Piers Morgan? You guys know Piers Morgan by any chance? He's this big anchor, news anchor in London, in UK. And his quality is, he's known for being that one of those very rude, mean type of people. He'll ask questions directly to insult the guest, and he'll put like very hurtful questions. And his entire objective is, how can I insult this guy? So this person was the Piers Morgan of that time when Srila Prabhupada was there. And now one of his devotees, his disciples, said that Prabhupada, this radio anchor, he's not a very kind guy. He's very insulting. So I would suggest you don't go for this, because he will always, like, he'll try to offend you. Prabhupada said, I'll handle, don't worry. He goes on the radio show, and this guy directly, he starts the show by, accusing Prabhupada. He says, so today we have Swamiji, Srila Prabhupada with us, and Prabhupada is preaching this Hare Krishna movement. So Swamiji, why are you preaching this Hare Krishna movement in London? You should go to hell for preaching this Hare Krishna movement. Hell. Just by hearing that, you feel a little angry, right? Guess what Prabhupada says? He says that you should go to hell for preaching this Hare Krishna movement. Prabhupada says, why do you think I've come to London? And then he says that this guy gets flabbergasted. He's like shocked. Nobody is able to just so coolly and calmly completely destroy him in one sentence. So he doesn't know what to say. Prabhupada, don't you see London? It's actually so beautiful. There's so much greenery. Prabhupada says, yes, it's green hell. Then he says that Prabhupada was so fearless, and even if you see any of his interviews, you'll just fall in love with Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is absolutely, he doesn't care. He's not following any of these protocols, and he's not pretending to be this very humble guy. In his heart, obviously, he was very humble, but he did as per what was required in the circumstances, because he was looking at the higher goal of preaching this Hare Krishna movement. And so should we. We should always, if we want to please Krishna, we can't directly go and please Krishna. That's why when we're offering prasadam, what is the mantra when we offer prasadam? Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pucharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Deshatarine. We do the Prabhupada Pranam mantra because we don't directly offer anything to Krishna. Similarly, if we want to offer our love, our dedication, if we want to show our surrender, we can't directly to show it to Krishna, because Krishna is busy with his gopis. Why does he care about some little jiva in the millions and billions of universes that he's created? He doesn't care. You need to please the Guru. And what does Prabhupada say? I will do a quiz for all the brahmachari and in general. What does Prabhupada say? If you want to please me, what are you supposed to do? Edward Prabhu. Very good. Print and distribute my books. This is what Prabhupada followed, what his guru told him. His guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, said, print and distribute my books. Prabhupada, when his Gurudev passed away, left his body, he saw that most of his god brothers were either leaving the movement, or they were, getting into dirty politics. They were taking positions of power and misusing their power. Prabhupada alone said that this is such a great movement that Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur had started to spread the message of Lord Chaitanya all over the world. And Prabhupada said, I will take it. He was a grihastha. He had a family. He had everything, a big business, everything. He was very well to do. He left all of that to just preach it. He took sannyas and he went to the Western world to preach it. That was his dedication. And for somebody who's sacrificed so much, we can't do a little bit. We want to praise ourselves. Oh, look at my deity, my personal deity. Nothing wrong with having personal deities. But if we think that this is all that Krishna conscious movement has to offer, then I'm sorry, you're mistaken. It actually means following in the footsteps of parampara. It actually means going and doing the dirty work that people don't want to do. Go to the streets and distribute the books. Go and preach to people. At least if you can't preach to the whole world, try to preach to some close one. Somebody, try to change somebody's heart. Not just sit here and enjoy prasadam and think of I'm such a great devotee. That's not the way. We should follow the parampara. We can see this even in the end of Krishna book, where Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev, and I'll end with this because I think I'm over time. He asked Sukadev Goswami that how is it that the Vedas actually can talk on transcendental topics? Aren't the Vedas supposed to talk about the different, fruitive activities, and it talks about so many aspects? How can mundane people understand transcendental topics? How is the Vedas talking about transcendental topics? And what does Sukadev Goswami say? He doesn't directly go into Siddhanta. He first tells him, this is actually what I heard. I'll tell you a story from Narada Muni, his guru. And what does he says that Narad Muni went to Narayan Rishi, so you can see how the parampara went on, right? Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami directly refers to Narad Muni. Narad Muni inquires from Narayan Rishi. And Narayan Rishi, when he asked Narayan Rishi, he goes to a Kalpa Gram in Badirikasham. It's in India. It's very cold and snowy in the winters. He goes over there and he makes these inquiries. The exact same question that Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami. And Narayan Rishi also, he doesn't answer. He says, let me recite one story which I heard, which happened in Janaloka. Janaloka is a planetary system above even the heavenly planets, above the moon and Venus. That's Janaloka, and it was a discussion between all the denizens of the heavenly planets and the four great Kumaras. And Sanananda Kumara, he was actually explaining this, that actually the God is creating this and it's all his material energy. Anything which is separate from Krishna, everything which is not directly related to Krishna is illusion. He explains these high philosophies. And Prabhupada writes over there that this is actually the way of describing philosophy. We follow the parampara, we go as per the parampara. So similarly, if we want to, please Krishna, or we want to take part in devotional service, we have to please Prabhupada. We cannot we can chant as many rounds as we want, we can decorate we can make very beautiful we can do anything we want. Till the time Prabhupada is not satisfied, we cannot please Krishna. Please keep this in mind. This is the most important fact of it. And we need to see how and get inspired from what these great souls did, these great personality did. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur went all the way. He found manuscripts, and it wasn't even in one whole connection. Today, if you want Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can get the whole 9 volumes very easily and get it personally delivered to home. He had to go and find individual manuscripts, and then he had to dry it and he had to rewrite it. Some of them were damaged. He went over and beyond, and for that we can't even do a little bit. Prabhupada had to sacrifice his sleep. He used to sleep from 11 to 2, and then he used to continue printing his books. And for that we can't even read 5 minutes. And then we want to claim ourselves to be very big devotees. That's not the way. If you actually want to make any progress, and if you actually want to please, we have to please our Guru. If you are initiated, please your Guru. Follow your Guru's Vani. And your Guru is in fact following the Vani of Prabhupada. Now, all Gurus are actually following the Vani of Prabhupada. His Holiness Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj is following the Vani. He was told by Prabhupada that you eternally just do Bhagavad Katha, do Hari Katha. Read from the Bhagavatam. Read and distribute this knowledge of Bhagavatam. And that's what he does. Srila Radhanath Maharaj, so many great personalities are there. They are always continuously serving. We recently had a Vyas Puja for His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And I saw some of the Vyas Puja offerings. He is personified servant of Prabhupada. He is somebody who's completely surrendered to Prabhupada and just following his mission blindly. He didn't bat an eye. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he went to the places where people didn't even want to, there was no receptivity, no favorability for Krishna consciousness. He went to China and all those places. China is one of the most atheistic countries, and he went there and preached. Such great personality. We are not on the level of great personalities. At least we can follow the footsteps. By following the footsteps, finally we might arrive to the goal by their mercy. They will bestow the mercy. In Ghanshyam Prabhu told me one very interesting thing. He said that bhakti is very interesting. Nobody progresses in bhakti just by chanting extra rounds. You can read as much as you want. You can memorize as many shlokas as you want. And then he said the only way you can progress in bhakti is by mercy and blessings of other Vaishnavas. You can do anything else. You can bang your head on the wall. You can chant 400 rounds for all you care. You can do whatever you want. You will only progress in bhakti if you have mercy and blessings of other Vaishnavas. So that is something to keep in mind. I think we are completely out of time. Apologize if that. One small sentence I'll end with, that Krishna, it's mentioned because I wanted to relate to the verse. Krishna is said to be very compassionate, and who else is more compassionate than Krishna? Who can you give? Krishna says patram pushpam phalam tum. Imagine if you give Krishna satisfied by little water and leaf that you give him. Imagine if you go to Woolworths and you say that, please, I want to buy all of this, I'll give you 1 glass of water. He'll take that glass of water and throw it on your face and say, get out. No human being is as compassionate as Krishna is. Krishna simply, nobody looks at the mood with which you do it. If your boss at work says, do this project, and then you say that, and when a deadline comes, you tell your boss, oh, actually in my heart I was really feeling, I was meditating on doing that. He says, I don't care, I'm meditating on firing you, get out. Right? They don't care about the intention and the mood. Krishna only looks at the intention and mood. He doesn't even look at the actual result. You can give him, like Vidura's wife was offering Krishna banana peels, and Krishna was accepting it with so much ecstasy. So that is the quality, that is the compassion. When we understand the compassion of Krishna, it motivates us to do all of these things. Because Krishna is so merciful. Okay, I'm seriously out of time. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.